All right, I think we can start. Welcome everyone to a new video about EHTML. It's a library or framework which allows you to focus on templating side of HTML or how it could be implemented. And yeah, as you might know, that HTML is a markup language, and with this library, you can treat your HTML files or HTML code like a template language, and I will go into the details. But of course, I would highly recommend to watch my previous video where I, in more details, explain basic concepts about HTML. In previous video, actually, we created a simple blog app, and in this video, I'm gonna show you a new feature that I implemented like yesterday. It supports WebSockets and allows you to encapsulate the logic around WebSockets right into your HTML code. And we are going to build very simple chat app. And yeah, hopefully you will appreciate those powerful abstractions here that you will see. There is also a website, ehtml.org, where you can find all the details about different elements. And yeah, I already added a new section about new element, but of course we will talk about during presentation. And yeah, I think the best way to learn new things through the examples. So yeah, hopefully everything will go smooth. And today we are going to build this very simple chat app. For demonstrating purposes, I decided to, to demonstrate two different fonts, but they are connected through the WebSocket. And for example, if we type like, so there is a Alice and Bob, and let's say Alice tells Bob hi, and he responds, hi Alice. And yeah, they go back and forth, and let's say there is also validation. So I just cannot, send the message. I don't know if, yeah, there is a visual effect is not that seen, but yeah, it can be easily configured. But yeah, overall, let's say, yeah, what else? Let's say I'm gonna say hi, and you will see that there is there is scroll adjustment as well, so you can see all the new messages. By no means it's a full functional chat app, but just to demonstrate how powerful and how easily you can achieve even this. It's already exciting, and yeah, I think we can start learn how to do this. And what I'm gonna say is just the whole this application is just one HTML file with included JavaScript code, with the library itself, and that's about it. So yeah, I think, and I hope you will appreciate such simplicity. So let's jump into it. And yeah, so this is the code. I already added some stuff. For example, like we can see CSS files, predefined CSS files, and also the script itself, which we can include in the head element. And there is also like body and base div, which contains the whole thing. So just let me restart, and yeah, let's build this. You can also notice that there are some messages that indicates that indicate that both users are connected on page load. That's kind of important, and we will get to that as well. And yeah, so let's build our app. And first things first, we are going to use a template tag in HTML. It's built-in thing, but what we are going to declare here is attribute, which will tell that we are going to work with WebSockets. It's called e-ws, and yeah, that's how easy it is. And so why this is template? Well, the biggest reason, of course, is because first we need to to connect to our WebSocket. And then once we're connected, we can render what's inside of this template, because templates are such elements in HTML that they are not rendered on page load. They are rendered when needed, and we can predefine those behaviors and like different cases where they should be rendered, and those all cases and scenarios are handled by this library. So yeah, so let's talk about the attributes, right? There is a data src attribute which basically tells which server we need to connect. Another important aspect is, of course, data socket name. It defines the name of the socket, and this name, we can refer to it when we receive messages and send messages, so in different elements. So yeah, I will show how to do this. And another important aspect is that we can do some actions on when then connection is established. And for example, in this case, we're showing this message. So yeah, so this is what comes to first phone, but there is also second phone, right? And we can declare here itself as well. And as you see, we still connect to the same server because we're using the same WebSocket server, but we're using different client. And we can call this client like second socket, that was a first socket, and we're doing the same thing. In this case, it's just we are showing this message. You can, of course, do whatever you want. You can show a green circle or whatever, but it's just to indicate that both users are connected. So let's add some mockups for fonts like design elements and stuff like that. I don't know, some like notch and speaker. So yeah. Those kind of things. And of course, like message box, we will come to typing area and send button in the future. So another important aspect that allows us to handle incoming messages. So what is WebSocket? So WebSocket is a mechanism to detect asynchronously incoming messages and also send messages to the WebSocket, and to send the certain message to all the clients or the certain clients. It depends on your business logic. So in general, I would say that there are two aspects of what comes to WebSockets, or rather three aspects. So first one is just establishing the connection, and it's done by this element, the main element, which does everything. The second aspect, of course, handling incoming messages, and the third one is handling sending messages. So we will, of course, discuss all the stuff, but first let's discuss handling incoming messages. So we can see that there is an element which is called eJSON. Usually this element was already implemented before, but before that, instead of data socket, we were specifying the attribute data src, where we can declare the external source of JSON objects, or I don't know, some endpoints in our backend server or whatever. And we just we fetch the JSON, and later on in the attribute data actions on response, we can handle that response in certain ways. And here you can see that instead of data src, we are just explicitly declaring data socket, and we're specifying that for this particular eJSON, please handle all the incoming messages in first socket that we are declared before. So when incoming messages are coming to us to this specific client, we are handling some actions on the response. First action is we are mapping some message we are mapping incoming message to some template, which we'll discuss later on. And then we are basically, those lines of code are adjusting the scroll behavior. And of course, you can put these things in a separate file in JS functions somewhere else, and just to have one-liners here. But just to demonstrate full power, I'm gonna show you in one, like everything in one HTML page, because I think it's kind of like symbolic, and I think it's just easier to demonstrate the raw logic here. So all right, so here's the thing. And of course, we are declaring the response name, which we can use as a variable inside of data actions on response. So we're declaring data response name, and then we're using the same variable name in data actions on response. And the same goes for the AJSON in the second fun, where we're declaring the second socket and we are declaring second message from the second iPhone or phone, whatever. And yeah, we're doing the same things, we're mapping and we're adjusting the scroll position. All right, so so as you might already see that this message ID template, because we need to map something to template, this kind of thing is already declared here with ID because we specified the query selector, and we're mapping this this message to this template. And yeah, I think this attribute is not needed, but whatever. Yeah, I think I messed up a bit what comes to eForms, but yeah. All right, so actually I will fix it later and we will see that the validation works. So anyways, so the same goes for the second iPhone. And yeah, here we are declaring our message clouds, or I don't know how to say, like new elements that wrapped around our messages. We setting them to the, like we can right here set the background style from, like we can send or we can handle user color from incoming messages. Also we can display username, like to see the user who sent us the message and the message itself. So, and the same goes yeah, the same goes here as well. All right, so this is what comes to like handling incoming messages. So whenever, yeah, another important aspect that I didn't mention in this video is that this template is called reusable. What it means is that whenever we get the incoming messages, we can reuse the same template. So this template is not being removed after it's been like handled. And because if you don't specify this template, you can map this certain template only once. But if you use reusable attribute, it will tell the EHTML that this template can be reused in the future. So whenever we get the incoming messages, we can, you know, handle this mapping as many times as we want. Okay, so this is what was about like handling incoming, and now let's see what's gonna happen when we press like when we type something and the message is being sent. So for this we declaring eForm, and the main difference between eForm and just usual form in or regular form in HTML is that eForm handles JSON objects instead of like it sends JSON payloads. So we are defining two hidden properties. For Alice, it's username Alice. It's hard coded, I understand this, but it can be easily done like through different fetching mechanisms that actually I described in previous video, and you can read about that in HTML docs as well. And so those are two hidden input fields that will be sent, and this name attribute is used as a key for the property in our payload. So we are sending a username and user color. If you remember, on handling incoming messages, we get those the same like properties, and you know, we can display the Alice name here and the color here. So yeah, another important aspect is, of course, we specify text area, and you can I think I did typo in this font, but here we can specify the CSS data validation class, which will be presented each time when, you know, the text area is empty or it doesn't match any certain patterns that you can also predefine. And another important aspect is, of course, button. In this button, because, you know, we can handle different, how to say, we can we can have basically EHTML allows you to have different triggers in the same form, and on each trigger where basically you call this form.submit this, you must specify the certain either data socket. What comes to sockets, you specify that I need to send messages to this first socket, or you like for like regular HTTP requests, you specify data src instead of data socket, like for eJSON element. So in this first button for this form, in this first icon, we specifying that we need to send our messages to the first socket. So all you need is just this one line, and it will send this kind of like all the properties and as a JSON object to the socket. Another important aspect that you can use in onClick action is the property isValid, because like this will be submitted only when the form is valid, and you can specify different patterns and different conditions for validations, and a form cannot be submitted if it's not valid. But other actions can be more flexible, but usually in order to simplify to specify explicitly those things, we can use this isFormValid attribute. And for example, if it's valid and we submitted the message, we can show the message again on our side, because as you know, as many times is implemented on different web services, or what comes to WebSockets, when WebSocket is submitted, usually it's not submitted to us, but rather for other people. So we kind of like need to handle ourselves what's gonna happen on our side. And for this case, we're just mapping the same template, reusable, which were declared somewhere. Let me see. Here. And we are mapping the predefined object. I mean, you can define it in memory or whatever, but I just decided to keep it here just because I want to show the whole logic. Here you just specify the username, user color, and of course you can get the message text, and all you do is just you map the hard-coded object, because before that in eJSON we but we mapped incoming message, but here we can actually hard code any object on certain templates. And of course, if we submitted successfully the message, we changing our text area to empty so that we can type again. And and one more time we are adjusting our scroll position. And the same goes for the kind of like for the second font as well. So let me just copy this thing and let me remove this because I put it here by mistake, and let me put it, let's see, I'll put like, just to be more consistent, I put it, let's put it after ID because it makes more sense. And for consistency, let's do this thing here again. All right, so let me just restart it. And I think you can see that there is a certain style that kind of like indicates that this field is empty, and whenever we focusing again, it disappears. So hi, and it works. All right, so this is what comes to WebSockets. As you see, it's just very powerful, transitioning different things in between, and I don't know, it just feels really cool. And you can easily create WebSocket clients. You can handle elements for incoming messages, for outgoing messages, with all beneficial points of forms like validations, and also different triggering elements as well, and of course the full power of a JSON format, which that you can use. So I think it's excellent. I'm gonna push the changes into application, and I will put the link into the application. There is also a blog post that I wrote before recording this video, you can read a lot more about that, and of course there is a link to the GitHub where you can find the full source code. And yeah, just try it out. I will much appreciate if you can give me some feedback. And yeah, thank you very much. And yeah, that's about it about this new feature. And yeah, bye.